everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. I am Kim Rayfelt, the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for AMAG Technology, and I will be your host. 2024 is shaping up to be an exciting year for AMAG. We have a lot happening at the company, and I'm excited that we have these monthly webinars to share our news with you. We design these webinars to keep you updated on everything new, whether it's our products, our services, or our company. The goal is to improve our communications with you, as well as share information about our Symmetry Solution Suite. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please type them in the Q&A box, and we will address as many as we can at the end of the webinar. And we will follow up with those whose questions we didn't get to after the webinar. So today we welcome a newcomer to the webinar, Director of Finance, Grant Walker. I'm excited to have Grant on the webinar this month. Grant will be introducing a brand new offering to our customers called AMAG Technology Financial Services. I'll leave the details to him, but I think you're going to be pretty excited once you hear about it. And I am pleased to welcome back Enterprise Solutions Engineer, Stephen Powell. Steve will be introducing Symmetry Control Room, AMAG Technology's command and control software. And then I will wrap it up with a short marketing update at the end. AMAG Technology offers a unified, open, and integrated security platform that empowers businesses to effectively secure their facilities and meet compliance. Our comprehensive Symmetry Solution Suite sets us apart from our competition in that we offer a complete solution to manage identities versus our competition, which may offer 1, 2, or 3 of these solutions. We manage these identities using access control, video management, identity management, command and control, visitor management, and mobile credentials. Our Symmetry Solution Suite helps our reseller channel and end users solve security and compliance challenges. The Symmetry Solution Suite, along with our ecosystem of best-in-breed technology partners, operate together to provide a complete and integrated solution for you. So all of our webinars and a lot more are available on our YouTube channel, which I invite you to subscribe to. Now I'm going to hand it over to Grant, who will introduce AMAG Technology's Financial Services program to you.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for that introduction. And as the slide suggests, my name's Grant Walker and I'm AMAG's Finance Director. I've been with AMAG for about 18 years. Prior to working with AMAG, I headed up a finance function for a Swedish multinational at their UK head office. And I qualified in accounting practice here in the UK. Over the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about a new service that we're really excited to be announcing, AMAG Financial Services. Next slide, please. Okay, so AMAG has partnered with Vantage Financial Services to give our channel partners and end users access to an alternative method of funding when it comes to larger purchasing decisions. Vantage Financial is a nationally recognised equipment leasing company with equipment leased in all 50 states. And in 2022, Vantage was acquired by People's Bank and now has the backing of a $7.1 billion bank. So with AMAG and Vantage Financial, we can now offer channel partners and their end users the choice of purchasing a product or service in full or to lease it for an agreed upon term. This gives the end user choice and flexibility and allows them to keep up to date with their security technology. The end user can apply to finance their system, providing them the option to pay for the solution over a term of 3 to 5 years, which will lower upfront costs of purchasing the system outright. The lease can not only cover AMAG technology hardware and software costs, but also other costs related to the project. So, for example, the lease arrangement also allows the inclusion of AMAG software support agreements, as well as any other associated project costs the channel partner has. Therefore, the end user can incorporate all project costs into the lease and have one monthly payment to cover everything, simplifying their whole offering. Next slide, please. So the benefits of the lease are simple. The lease arrangements benefit all parties. It lowers upfront costs, so you're not making a large outflow of cash. You tie in fixed monthly payments, which are great for budgeting and cash flow forecasting. There's asset ownership at the end if desired. There may be potential tax benefits depending on the tax status of the end user. And there's improved cash management for us all, for all participants. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is a capital lease? And I'm sure most of you will be aware of how a lease operates, but here's a very brief overview. A capital lease or a finance lease is a type of lease agreement where the lessee, i.e. the company leasing the asset, is responsible for the maintenance, insurance and expenses associated with the leased asset during the entire duration of the lease term, exactly the same as if it had been purchased outright. A capital lease allows an end user to acquire the use of an asset without having to purchase it outright. This can be really beneficial for a business that needs the use of an asset but may not have the necessary cash to buy it up front all in one go. So with a capital lease, the business makes regular payments over a set period of time, and at the end of the lease, they offer the option to purchase the asset for a nominal amount, extend the lease, or return it to the lessor. There is, of course, an interest charge associated with the lease, and this will vary depending on factors such as the project value, the required lease term, and the credit status of the applicant. Next slide, please. So why choose AMAG Financial Services? Well, in a nutshell, it's simple and it's straightforward. Vantage will work through our channel partners to become a strategic financing resource that they can offer to their customers. The lease solutions are customizable and flexible, so it can be bespoke to individual needs. And Vantage will work directly with the end user to secure the financing. And once approved, they pay both AMAG and the channel partner for the entire amount up front. So there are no cash headaches collecting cash further down the road, and the end user will commence the lease directly with Vantage. In working with AMAG and Vantage, both the channel partner and the end user are working with a trusted financing partner, removing the work needed to locate an alternative source or provider. Next slide, please. So how does this process work? So the channel partner will create a quote in exactly the same way as they do today and send it to the end user. If the end user would like to receive a lease quote, they request the channel partner to send the quote over to Vantage at the email address here shown. And at this point, Vantage will take over the communications directly with the end user and provide them with a customized lease proposal based on their needs and requirements. If needed, they can meet them in person or can get on a call if it's a more complicated lease or there's certain requirements needed. Once they receive a verbal commitment, Vantage will work with the end user to work towards a credit approval, and upon completion of the project, the customer signs off a certificate of acceptance. Vantage then pays the amounts to AMAG Technology and the channel partner in total, and as I said previously, the end user would then commence the monthly lease payments back to Vantage. Next slide, please. So how do I find out more? So if you're interested in this, or if your end users are interested in this, we have a detailed brochure that contains everything that's been discussed here, or an AMAG salesperson will be able to talk you through the process. So that's a very brief introduction to AMAG Financial Services. We're really excited about it. We think it's going to really aid in purchasing decisions, and it really is a great opportunity for both the channel partner and end user alike. And we look forward to working with you soon. I'm now going to pass you over to Steve Powell, who's our Enterprise Solutions Engineer.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Grant. I'm Steve Powell, and I'm going to be talking to you about Symmetry Control Room, which is a part of our Symmetry Solutions suite. Next slide, please. So as we saw on the solutions graphic, Symmetry Control Room sits so that we can actually place it over all of our solutions. Next slide, please. So what is Symmetry Control Room? Symmetry Control Room provides a single graphical user interface for easier monitoring and control of all of the security applications and devices through what we refer to as a single pane of glass. This interface gives improved operator experience in the handling of alarms and events, provides faster response times and increased efficiency, which results in reduced operator time per task, greater compliance, and lower operational costs. What this enables the operator to do is to look at everything that's going on for true situational awareness from one system rather than having to jump into multiple systems. Next slide, please. It provides you a platform for growth. So what this means is you can start with a basic system, whether it's 2, 3 technologies as an example, and then you can grow it as the requirements change over time, or if you need to add additional systems in or technologies in. So as an example, maybe you have a customer or you are the customer and you're currently using one access control, one video management system, and then an acquisition comes along and you need to bring that in, but you do not have, say, the capital or the time to change over immediately. This gives you a way that you can actually bring these other systems in and still monitor them. Or in some cases, customers have a single access control system and a couple of video management systems. It also gives you the ability to think outside the box a little bit about other technologies and future strategies of what you could bring in. Next slide, please. It has a customizable GUI. So you can adapt the page so that the operator gets all the required relevant information to increase their efficiency. And I'll show you a couple things in the next couple slides on how this also helps. But you can custom tailor it. As an example, maybe you have an operator that's only covering a particular area, or they need a couple different applications in there that they need to be able to monitor at one time. You could do it from a single screen, or you could have a multiple screen layout. Next slide, please. One of the strongest things that Control Room brings to the table is the ability to have workflows. Now, Symmetry ACS has workflows in it also, but Control Room has a lot more flexibility as to what you can do with workflows. You have the ability to do a wide range of questions, as you see in the left picture there, but it also gives you the ability to suspend or transfer a workflow. So maybe I'm doing something and I need to wait on some information coming back. I can suspend it and move over to another action. Or if I needed to, I could transfer it to a supervisor or something of that nature. In the workflows, you have the ability to do any number of different types of questions, and you can make those questions mandatory. The key there is by making those questions mandatory, you're forcing the operators to follow the standard procedures for auditing and compliance. They can be simple, check boxes. They can be comment fields where you key things in, or it could be even a drop down where you select from a number of different choices. In this case, we've given an example of they've responded that they needed to see video in that. So now you've got the pop-up that's next to it that gives you a floor plan and 2 video windows. One of those would be the live image. The second could be the recorded image. So whatever time you've defined before an alarm happens, you'd be able to look at that recorded image to see what information you could gather from it. The bottom right corner could be used for a number of different things. It could be a case where if you needed to take a snapshot of an image, you could, or it could even be a PDF with instructions. As an example, you've got somebody out there with an AED who needs help on how do I use this thing. You could have the PDF there so that you could step them through if they had called into the SOC. Next slide, please. You also have the ability to have a centralized area of contact information for the area where you're dealing, if it's a remote site, things of this nature. The advantage here is you're not trying to change contact information in multiple places. So you always have the current and relevant information. And as things change, then you still can pull that information, not going back to past dated information with maybe somebody who no longer works for the company or what. Next slide, please. You also have the ability where you could change it on the fly if you need it. So as an example here, I'm being listed as the contact for Hawthorne. Maybe I'm on vacation, so I need to put somebody else in for a week. I could go in, easily change it so that it's always that current information. Again, these are the things that help the operators work more efficiently, or as I like to say, let them work smarter versus harder. Next slide, please. So with Control Room, it gives you the ability to do intelligent alarm handling. So what you're doing is you're combining a sequence of individual alarms with certain conditions that lead to a real alarm. By doing this, you're reducing your nuisance and false alarms and avoid handling the individual alarms. So let's give you a couple examples. The one you're seeing here is you have a door held, and we're also bringing in an external sensor that's showing what the air quality index is. So the fact that it's a higher than 149 on your AQI is saying you've got a concern over poor air quality with the door being held open, because that air could then be coming into the building. So based on those criteria, meeting certain things, now you generate a real alarm that needs to be addressed. Another good example is doors that may rattle with the wind, so it becomes a nuisance alarm. And sometimes your operators will just totally ignore that capability. Oh, they know, yeah, it does that several times a day. Well, if you take that alarm and tie it into another technology, as an example, like video analytics, you can treat that as a nuisance alarm that does not get raised to the operator level to be a real alarm unless it's confirmed with a video analytic to show that, yes, you have somebody out there that is trying to get in that door, whether they're trying to pry it open or what. But there are a number of different ways you can combine those different technologies to make sure that these are real alarms going to the operators so that their time is not wasted on chasing these nuisance and false alarms. Next slide, please. So another great feature that Control Room gives you is the ability to do video overlays. And if you notice over there on the left side of the picture, you'll see where we've put the door. So this gives you the ability to actually control that door. You could lock, unlock it, you can disable it, enable it, or you could have any number of other commands that you could put there as to what the door is capable of doing. Simply by clicking on the overlay, it gives the operator the ability to do something immediate without having to jump over to other areas, within the package to do a lock unlock, as an example. So if you had an individual that maybe has done something wrong and they are going to try and escape out that door, the operator could immediately disable it to prevent that door from being able to open with card access and that. And there are a number of other things you could do along those lines and overlay with lights, things of this nature. Next slide, please. So let's talk about additional technologies and why would we want to bring them in. First one here is, when you look at Control Room, you've got a number of standard protocols that Control Room can support, whether that's BACnet, Modbus, OPC, SNMP, MQTT for like your IoT type devices. But if you look at, let's take an example of building management alarms. Why would I want to bring in building management alarms to the system? This allows, maybe you've got your SOC that is staffed 24/7, but maybe you don't have facilities on site 24/7. You would then, using the standard protocols that I mentioned, you could bring these alarms into Control Room, so at least you get situational awareness of what's going on in these other sites, if it's a different building by chance, parking garage, whatever. So as an example, if you had a high temp alarm, you could then get in touch with facilities to have them come deal with the situation. Or it could be something as simple as you've got lights that are not turning on or off in a building and you're giving control, you could actually do those. So again, another way of increasing your situational awareness of everything that's going on in your site or sites. And Control Room allows you to have that multi-site capability coming back into your interface. So if you have multiple servers for different systems out there, they can all feed back in for centralized monitoring, as well as, of course, you can put it into redundant situations, or if you've got multiple SOCs of this type of thing, it's a great platform for being able to do those things. Please let us know if you have any additional questions or need additional information on it. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Kim.
Thanks, Steve, and thanks, Grant. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A box. So to round out today's webinar, I want to personally invite you to stop by AMAG Technology's booth at ISC West. Our booth number is 14089. We are excited to offer you a free pass to attend. If you need a free pass, please email me or contact your sales representative to obtain our link. We have so much happening. In addition to launching AMAG Technology Financial Services program that Grant revealed today, and Symmetry Control Room Command and Control that Steve previewed for you, I want to personally invite you to stop by the booth to see what else we have to offer. We are giving away an Apple and Google bundle, so please stop by and register to try to win that. And in addition, we are going to be unveiling our brand new booth and launching 2 more products. I can't talk about those products quite yet, but please watch your LinkedIn feed or your inbox for that news. Now let's take a look and see if we have any questions. Let's see. A website for more details. Their webpage is coming soon. That is the only question that we had. All right. There is a webpage coming soon to promote the new AMAG Technology Financial Services.
And there is also there's a detailed brochure as well, isn't there, Kim, that we've already got produced?
Yes, the brochure is produced, and your salesperson should have a copy of that, and it will be posted on our website probably within the week. So thank you, Grant and Steve, for presenting on today's webinar. And thank you to Jamie for making sure that everything is running smoothly behind the scenes, as always. If you have any questions about Symmetry or about anything we talked about today, please reach out to your local AMAG representative and we can set up a meeting with you. As always, the full webinar and previous webinars are on our YouTube channel. As soon as we end this webinar, a short survey will pop up. We ask that you please take a minute to answer those questions because we always want to make sure that we deliver the best information to you on these webinars. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll join our next webinar, which isn't until May 21st. We will not be having a webinar next month due to the trade show. So watch your inbox for details about that. And thanks again. Hope to see you at ISC West.